lecture, we are going to discuss several other online tracking mechanisms. These include web beacons, digital fingerprinting, search engines, social media, the Internet of Things, and cross-device tracking. Web beacons are also known as tracking pixels. These are 1 by 1, with this being 1 pixel by 1 pixel, graphic images placed on a device to track and monitor user behavior. Web beacons contain data about the sites you visit. Ad networks use this data to monitor activity and deliver personalized ads and content. And email campaigns will use beacons to track the open rate. The open rate here means the rate of individuals that open those emails. For example, a company will know that 63% of individuals opened this particular email with this headline. Digital fingerprinting is a log of information about a device that is requesting data from a server. And the data gathered through digital fingerprinting includes IP address, date and time of visit, the URLs visited, the browser and version of the browser, and the operating system. And what this log does is it creates a profile that fingerprints the device. This can be really useful for advertisers because they know how best to serve you certain content. We likely all know that search engines can capture incredibly intimate details of our lives. A lot of the questions that we have that are perhaps too embarrassing to ask even our closest friends and family members, we will, without thinking twice, ask a search engine. And this browsing history, the questions that we ask search engines, can be linked to our PII. One thing that a lot of folks might not know is that our virtual assistants, such as Siri, chatbots, and so forth, are using search engines to retrieve the content that they serve to us. Social media, of course, is rife with personally identifiable information. Social media websites record and track our engagement, not only to provide us with personalized content, but also to serve us very specific ads. When we like or dislike a comment from a friend or a colleague or some other video that we've shown, when we select a certain emoji, such as a happy or cry face or angry emoji, when we leave a comment, the amount of time that we spend viewing content, all of that is recorded and used to provide us with more personalized content to keep us engaged on the platform longer. Again, the longer we're engaged with the platform, the more ads we see. The more ads we see, the more money the platform makes. A lot of the information that we share with social media is also publicly available. And while it may not be publicly available to folks that don't have an account with the social media, it could be available to our friends or even to connections of friends. And because this data is so accessible, it is often fodder for spear phishing and whaling. If a bad actor out there is looking to gather information about a potential target at a company that they are targeting, social media is probably the first place they would go to gather reconnaissance data. I don't think we've yet officially defined Internet of Things, and so this is a good opportunity to do that. When we're talking about the Internet of Things, we're referring to devices that contain sensors and software. They have the computing power to process data on their own, and they are connected to the internet. Examples of the Internet of Things include wearables, such as a smartwatch, virtual assistants, speakers, earbuds, thermostats, refrigerators, and now, of course, cars. And while personally I haven't seen any IoT devices serve me advertisements just yet, this is likely to be a major medium for advertising in the future. I just hope my thermostat doesn't require that I watch an ad for 30 seconds before I turn the AC on in the summer. The last thing that we'll touch on here is cross-device tracking. And this has actually come up a couple other times so far as we've discussed online advertising and online cookies. In short, the objective of cross-device tracking is to gather and aggregate as much data as possible in order to provide the most relevant personalized ads for individuals. Again, companies are really keen on increasing the return on advertising spending, or ROAS. And when you know your audience, when you have a lot of data on them, and you're able to ascertain with a high degree of confidence that they will at least click on your ad or engage with your content, then that's going to be a good investment. It's a much better investment than newspaper advertisements or billboards of the past. In this lecture, we discussed web beacons, which are one-by-one graphic images placed on a device to track and monitor user behavior. We also discussed digital fingerprinting, which is a log of information about a device. The information gathered includes IP address, date and time, operating system, browser, and version of the browser. We also discussed that search engines contain intimate information we often don't share with others, and that information is linked and linkable to PII. Social media, of course, is also rife with personally identifiable information, and our engagement with social media is tracked and recorded. We defined the Internet of Things as devices that contain sensors, software, processing power, and are connected to the internet. And we concluded by defining the objectives of cross-device tracking, which are to aggregate data from multiple devices and then use that data to provide relevant and personalized ads.